Hi, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for joining the webinar that we're presenting now with Doorda. I'm Hamsel Gabri. I'm representing CleverMaps. We're a location intelligent company that provides the platform in order to help organizations to get to the bottom of various location intelligence decisions. And I'm joined with my colleagues from marketing, Peter Klobochnik. I'm stepping in for Matthew Worthington, who is sick today. And again, I'd like to welcome you to the webcast. And I'd also like to welcome Clifford, who will be presenting on behalf of Doorda.
My name's Clifford. I'm the founder of Doorda, and we are grateful to be given the opportunity to work with CleverMaps in helping them pull together this presentation that you're about to see. Prior to running through all the wonderful stuff they've put together, I thought it'd be good to give a quick insight into how the data we've created, how they're able to put that together and present it onto their application. So if we can go across to the first slide, please. So Dora, as a business, we are a data aggregation solution. So what we do is we monitor upwards of 1,000 data sites across the UK. We then track changes in them sites. We then download them data sets, and we then have in-house bespoke tools which allow us to uniquely join, connect, cleanse, and then present that data back via an online hosted solution which we built ourselves. Or clients can download that data in bulk, or they can connect via an API. And then we keep that data all nice and fresh. So some of it gets updated monthly, and some of it gets updated daily, depending on which application you're putting the data from. We're currently consuming just over 4,000 data sets a month. So it's quite a large operation, but it does allow us to offer quite a wide variety of data sets, which you'll see in a few minutes. Go on to the next slide. So within this, within the UK, we have 4 key offerings. One is our biz data. A biz is a collection of data sets wrapped around a company's house. And within that, we've also included information on regulatory notices, common risks as devised by the Health and Safety Executive, or even import-export data taken from HMRC. Everything within biz is tapped onto a company number, so it's all directly referenceable. Underneath that, we have a product called Property. Property is just over 36 million addresses, with additional information appended to it. So that could be the name of the commercial occupant, or the commercial owner, or the size of the premises, if it's a commercial premises. But we've also attached things like transaction data when property is bought and sold, and also the sizes of the property, which are cross-referenced from additional data sources. Third data product is stats, and that allows you to uncover information around a location based on geodemographics or additional health information which we've tacked onto it. And that will give you insights on the income of an area, how healthy an area is, how good a doctor is, or just general population statistics. And then to join all this data above together, we've got our own in-house tools called Doorda Match, and that allows us to join the data on address or postcodes or any of the variables that we set against it. And all the information above is churned through each night, each week, and each month to make sure that the freshest version is always available. Within this presentation, CleverMaps will be using information gathered from property and stats. So the property will be the individual addresses that you see, and the stats will be the location information. You can also additionally, if you're interested in the commercial side of it within the property, you can connect the property addresses where there is a commercial occupant onto the biz data and get further information on who the directors are, when the company was registered, etc., etc. So I hope that gives you an insight into the data. I shall pass it back over to you, Hans.
All right. Thank you, Clifford. And I just want to remind everyone in the audience that if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat box, and we'll get to them as basically they're asked. And I want to also thank Clifford for giving us the opportunity to co-present. I think that Doorda is a perfect data partner for us because they understand how relevant location is to making some of these decisions, and much of their location is already geocoded location. I guess all of their location is all of their data is geocoded. Again, I'm Hamsel Gabri. I'm the Partners and Ecosystem Manager here at CleverMaps, and I'm very happy to have Doorda as a partner for us. So if we just move on to the slide about why location intelligence is important. So I think the $25 billion market size by 2025 is quite important on its own. And the fact that it's coupled with a yearly CAGR, compounded annual growth rate of about 15% per year, is quite high. Location is one of the most important factors in the success or failure of a business, be it a brick and mortar business or be it retail or a marketing business. You might be looking to advertise in the right location. And location intelligence, we consider it as a form of business intelligence where the dominant dimension or the dominant aspect is analysis of geographic sense or geospatial sense. Again, it's one of the fastest growing segments within business intelligence. So over here, Forbes is estimating that actually they did some research, and 66% of enterprises are ranking location intelligence as highly critical for them. But many companies struggle to understand and to be able to manage the massive amounts of location data that's coming out there. So if you now consider the possibilities of using location to better target your audience and better deliver personalized messages or personalized services to them, and that's what our platform helps companies do. So we rely on partners like Doorda, or we rely on clients that we're working with that have their own data, which already has a very high element of location in it. So our platform can help you answer questions like, where can I expand my customer or my partner or my supplier network? Where can I optimize my delivery coverage? What's the real catchment area of my branch? Where should I be opening, closing, or repurposing or relocating a branch to avoid cannibalism? And we'll go into that slightly with the demo that I'm going to be presenting. So any question that starts with where, as long as the data is available, the platform is able to help you consume that data and present it in a way that's easy to understand and manage intelligent decisions based on this data. So our platform is like a combination of GIS tools and business intelligence tools that are focused on the business end user. GIS is typically, you need a data analyst in order to be able to function in a GIS platform. And with BI tools, they're really lacking the spatial context or the location context. So many BI tools will have a map, but that map is a very high level map, and it doesn't give you the possibility to drill and filter into the details directly into the map. And again, that's what I'm going to be showing you with our platform today. Are there any questions, Peter, before I go on? No questions. All right, please, everyone, feel free to add the questions into the chat box if you have any questions or you want to make some comments. So what the capacity of our platform is able to kind of merge internal data, so a customer's own data, be it transaction data or mobility location data or customer data that's coming from like loyalty cards, anything again that has a location aspect to it. Of course, branches all have location aspects to it, with external data, and that's what Doorda is giving us today. So the demo that we're going to be presenting you today is purely based on Doorda's external data, and there's no internal data there. And once you are able to put the internal data there, so for specific customers or for partners who are working with customers, you'll be able to really manage large amounts of decisions in a way that's a lot more flexible and a lot more easy to manage. So demographic data, purchasing power data, competitor branches, we have a lot of this stuff already provided by Doorda into the platform. So why CleverMaps over like GIS or BI? So for one is it's merging the capabilities of two tools into one platform. That's quite important. And the second thing, it's easy to use. Unlike GIS, there are no technical skills that are required. It's able to merge multiple data sources together. You're able to kind of visualize this data without any pre-calculation directly into the map, and I'll show you some of these visualizations also. It's a cloud platform. We're a SaaS only company, and we're open for really massive amounts of data. So just to give you some examples, I think we're working with mobility providers, and the platform is able to handle 100 million rows of data without any problem or any issue. And we have kind of predefined visualization options, and I'll show you some of these again into the platform. It's more or less saying what I said earlier. We're a cloud-based platform. We can work with huge amount of data that has multi-dimensional aspects to it, both in terms of volume and in terms of different dimensions. So there's the location dimension, and then there can be some other dimensions there as well. We help companies to kind of unlock the value of their location data and monetize, in some cases, this location data. And we enable them to combine, filter, and display and query all this in an interactive way. Typically, our clients are retailers, they're telco companies, they're banks, utilities, logistics companies, and to a certain extent, more and more governments who are trying to understand the needs of their citizens and position their services in a way that will be better consumed or more welcomed by their citizens. The platform is intuitive, it's easy to use, it can handle big data volumes, it has quite fast processing time, and you'll see that shortly. We have APIs with many leading BI tools, and we help companies kind of monetize as well as visualize their internal and external data. And it's important to mention that for a retailer or for a bank, for them to open a location that is wrongly placed, that is millions and millions of dollars. And the platform can really help them with their internal data as well as external data, with the help of internal and external data, position, understand what is the value of a certain location and what are some of the competitive aspects with a location. And again, I'll show you that in a moment. Do we have any questions, Peter, before I go on?
Not yet.
So we have experience working, again, as I said, with banks, with retail institutions, with delivery and logistics companies, for example. We work with the Czech subsidiary of Delivery Hero to help them optimize their delivery routes and catchment areas for the different neighborhoods that they have, how far the different restaurants that they have, how far should these restaurants actually be able to deliver things, and what's the cost benefit analysis of that. We work with telco, we work with real estate companies who are looking for things like the next mall to be developed. And IoT platforms are in conjunction actually with local and public services that we have. So our clients are presented here on the map. We have Česká spořitelna, which is one of the biggest banks in the Czech Republic. Komerční banka, also a big bank in the Czech Republic. Mall.cz is the equivalent of Amazon. Airbank, Cooperativa, all of these are different banks. And then you have retailers like Teta is a drugstore retail. Albert is a grocery retailer. Chibo is coffee and some lifestyle goods as well. And then we have some, other use cases as well. So I'll be happy to keep in touch with everybody. These are my contact details. I think you'll probably receive Matthew's contact details in the email, in the thank you email for attending. You can reach out to him, as well as Clifford's details as well. Okay, so like I said earlier, for this webcast, we're basically relying 100% on data that was provided to us from Doorda. And I'm going to be showing you different views of projects that we created to utilize the demographic data and the other data that was provided by Doorda. So when you go into the platform, what you're looking now at is what we call the project page, and within each page there is information about the views that are created, as well as a use case of how we're using these views and how we're positioning these views. So I'm going to actually go into the last view, which we call the evaluation of potential new sites. And a couple of things to keep in mind over here is that everything that you saw in the earlier page and in this page in terms of the dashboards, which are on the right-hand side, and the filters, which is where you see the small 2, they're all customizable. And we can customize based on the client's needs, and of course, very important, based on the data that's available. So like I said, this is enriched demographic data from Doorda provided onto our platform. So the use case that I'm presenting here is we are, suppose that you're a large retailer, I don't know, like Sainsbury's or Tesco in the UK, and you're trying to evaluate new sites to open a store. So under this little tornado here, you're going to see a 2, because I've pre-filtered a couple of views in order to show you what I want you to see. So we're trying to find stores that have a driving distance of at least 3 kilometers from an existing retail shop that is a large type of retail shop, so a hypermarket or a large food or a large shop in general. And these dots over here are actually representing the stores, the competitive stores, as well as our own stores that are given in this view. So we're looking at locations that are 3 kilometers, at least 3 kilometers of driving distance. We're looking at large format stores. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to either look at the number, the population, or the households. This is, again, the data that was provided by Doorda. So if we look at populations, for example, and we want to see where is the biggest potential, I'm going to change the visualization from the polygons that you had earlier, showing you some administrative or zip code boundaries, and now I'm changing to the heat map, which shows you the biggest potential of households that are at least 3 kilometers away, where we can place a store and there won't be a huge issue with catchment area overlaps. Now keep in mind that in the UK, for grocery retail stores, which is what we created this demo for, and the data that we had from Doorda, the UK is very saturated with grocery retailers, so it was even difficult to have this view. So let me just close this for a second. And again, turn on the eye for the household. So what you're seeing now is these locations where you have a potential to have a new large format grocery store that isn't going to be within a 3 kilometer driving distance of another store. So if you kind of zoom in on a specific point in the map, what you're going to see is how many households are only in that specific point. So here there are 17,000 households, and let me zoom in a bit more to show maybe more granular data. So if you click here, well, it's actually, I clicked on the same spot, and if you click here, you see that you have 16,800 households, and there are already 6 stores here, but those 6 stores are not within a 3-kilometer driving distance, or they're small format stores. So in that circle, this is where you have the stores. And then you have things like employment ranking and income ranking, which more or less give you a desirability score in terms of purchasing power, if you know what I mean. So you can change the distance. So say, for example, I don't want to see 3 kilometers. I want to see 5 kilometers driving distance. And again, keeping in mind the retail density in the UK, that's going to severely narrow down like your availability of sites, as an example. And it's really important because, as we said, a bad location decision could really cost you millions of dollars. So now you're seeing things that are between 5 and 11 kilometers from the nearest retailer, which is a large retail format. And it's really easy to kind of click into the map and get the details, and it gives you this location context that we're talking about. Do we have any questions, by the way, Peter, before I move on?
No.
Okay, so that's one use case, and I think that was kind of a quite important use case to present. And then the second use cases that we have are for insurance. So unfortunately, I can't present some of these use cases because we weren't able to upload some of Doorda's insurance information into the platform, but the platform can help you identify fraudulent behavior by layering claim data of known factors like average income or employment, and it can be used to evaluate expected claim sizes using, again, the same factors of income or employment, or maybe like real estate values in the area. And it can also layer on top of that crime statistics for an additional dimension to compare. Clifford, can I hand back to you and maybe ask you to talk a little bit more about some insurance use cases? I know it takes some time.
Yes. Yeah, so certainly in terms of some of the clients that we've dealt with, people are using it for a variety of reasons beyond just store locations. So we have clients who are using it to better understand the risk profile of an area. So there may be specialists within a certain sector of the market, be it the lower end or the upper end. Using this sort of location mapping, they can easily identify where the highest density of their target customers could be. So if they're aiming for people over a certain age within a certain income category with houses they've held onto for a certain period of time, or that could easily be filtered in here and then extracted and then used directly for marketing purposes. We also have people using it for risk triaging, where if you make a call to a credit reference bureau, it's going to cost you a few pounds at a time. So we're possibly trying to minimize that. So you could find here that you've got a low income area. Someone's made an application to your business and they say they're earning £70,000 a year. But by looking on the data on here, which you previously filtered, you could easily identify that's actually a low income area where the people are earning under £20,000 a year. And instantly that would flag up an alert within your system to say this requires further investigation, as why would someone of that income be living in that particular area? Maybe a genuine reason, but it's a reason for, it's an area for concern, definitely. And then also, if you're going to layer your claims data on top of this, you could be looking and uncovering areas where you've got certain age ranges, certain dimensions, which combined could lead to an increase in claims, which again could help you factor in the costs analysis of what you want to charge your clients, but also the creation of new areas. It will allow you to find straight away which areas where there's a new estate are likely to have a higher claim before you actually have historical information on what claims have been made into that area as well. So that's a few examples of non-retail use cases. I'm sure anyone with a deeper understanding of the actuaries and what they get up to, combined with this data and the internal data, could make quite a heavy use of this platform to uncover more information.
Okay. Clifford, are there any other examples that you want to talk about as well? And just keeping in mind that the platform is like, we consider it a canvas. we put the data there, and to help you to easily be able to visualize where there are hotspots of either opportunity or risk. So beyond insurance, are there other potential uses?
Yes, I mean, within Doorda, we do have all the property transaction data. So you could see the average sell prices of properties within a particular location, and you could see when they're being bought and sold based on the time of year or based on increases in sales value. You could also filter that based on flats or semi-detached properties, whatever else it may be. We also track the occupants of commercial locations. So if you're a commercial risk insurer and you're trying to track a particular company, you could see a particular company's locations and then score the locations around that store and see over time how they're performing. A classic example would be someone like Pound World, who recently collapsed. People wanted to know exactly who the commercial owners were of them premises to see what the impact would be on them if they were underwriting the income from them premises. So by using the data, you could easily track in the area and see what other locations like that are available and what the impact would be on your particular portfolio. Similar with House of Fraser, another large retail units. You could track them again on here and see what the impact is and what availability for the services and retail units there are in the local area.
Okay, thank you, Clifford. So we have actually a couple of questions that came into the platform. The first one is, what does it mean to merge our internal data and the platform data from Doorda together with CleverMaps? Good question, and thank you for asking it. So basically, many companies, so be it retailers or banks or food delivery companies, they are collecting location data. So every time someone goes to use an ATM, for example, you know the location of that ATM. And for us to be able to merge the two data sources just means that we take this internal data from a company as well as external data from a company, from our partners like Doorda, and we combine both of these aspects together and allow you to visualize them in a map and allow you to filter for the specific instances that you're looking for. So imagine, like, if we're looking, what you see here are age bands, size of the store, the chain of the store. So we have that as well. Like, is it cooperative? Is it legal? Is it Marks and Spencer's? So imagine if these were separate pieces of data, but they're all connected together by location, because every store has a location, and every resident has a location with their postcode as well. And every store, for example, the size is also tied into the location aspect. So we're able to connect these two pieces of location together and merge them to seamlessly display whatever phenomenon or whatever aspect of the location you're looking to understand better. Do we have any other questions, Peter?
No, we don't.
Okay. With that, I want to thank you all for attending the call. I think everyone is going to receive a thank you email for attending with some access to the platform that you can go inside and visualize some of this data if you want, and slice and dice and come back to us or come back to Doorda with additional questions. And if we manage to do the recording, we'll also send you a copy of the recording. And with that, I want to thank you guys again for attending, and I wish you all a very good evening.